So this is going to be a completely no-sew reupholstery project. Hi there, Mimsy here. I'm going to show you how to reupholster this chair. The reupholstering of the chair is very simple. The most important thing I'm going to show you in this video is how to close up and finish off this chair without making double welt. You won't need to make double welt. You won't need to make single welt. You will not be using gimp cord to close this up. So let's get started. Okay, so I have this leftover scrap of fabric and I'm just going to determine how I want this pattern to sit on my chair without wasting a lot of fabric. I like that. Got enough on both sides to reach all the way down. Okay, now I can trim this off. Okay, and I've got this left over for my edge banding. I'm going to put one staple in the front, one staple in the back. Okay, I'm going to make some relief cuts around this arm and that arm, of course, and then around the back leg and that back leg, so I'll bring you in close. So this fabric is going to get tucked down in behind this arm. So we've got to make a cut here so that the fabric will go around each side of this. Let me show you around the other side. So what I'm going to do is grab my flathead screwdriver or a blunt, something blunt, and I'm just going to kind of tuck this down here. I'm just kind of tucking it down here to see how far down I'm going to need to cut this, and it looks like it's not going to go any further than that. So I'm going to mark this with chalk, and now I wouldn't normally do this, but for a beginner you might want to mark it with chalk so that you don't cut too far. We'll pull this back out of here and make this cut. So what I'm going to do is, I know that this is on each side of my arm. I'm going to cut straight down to this spot and then just kind of do like a little bird claw here. So that's what that looks like. It's a little bird claw. Let's see. See how that way this will open up around that arm. So now I can drag this back down like this and pull that fabric down in behind that arm. And we can tuck that little bird's mouth, bird claw down into there. Now we'll do this back leg, and we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, now I can staple from there to there. And then I might have to adjust this a little bit so I can fold that in so we don't get any puckers there. Okay, so I can take out a little bit of this fabric. So now I'm going to go from this arm to the front corner, and then I'll go here to here and do the corner. Let's do this corner. So we're going to bring this bit around here, and then we're going to tuck this fabric in and create a pleat here. Okay, that looks good. I actually don't even really need to trim off any fabric, but you get a little bit tighter around the corner. Okay, so what we're going to do is bring it around the corner and put a staple in right here, and then we'll maneuver this pleat. Get that tucked in nice and tight. Okay. Staple that down. If it was thicker fabric, you would want to cut off some of that under there, but this actually doesn't need it. All right, that looks good. Okay, now I'm gonna get my razor knife and trim all that off. So for the trimming, you really need to have a good sharp razor, a new razor, and you have to be super careful. Actually, I think I need another staple here. And this is one of the reasons why this chair can be no-sew, is because we've got these short sections that we need to close up. So we've got this one. This is going to be a little bit longer because it's going to go all the way around to this side. But then we've got another short guy and another short guy. And sometimes you'll see the welt go all the way around, up and around the arm, tucked in, and then back down, up and around this back leg and tucked in. I'm not going to do that because we want to do this no-sew. So I'm going to measure these, write down the lengths that we need. So this little short guy is, I'm going to say 10 inches, and we need 2 of those. All right, let's go to the table and cut these. Okay, you guys, somehow I failed to record it before I cut it, but this is the whole square piece of fabric that I've got left over. I needed my longest piece to be 35 inches. I gave myself a little leeway there, and this is exactly 35 inches. So we'll see if this piece here will make it around. So what I did is I went ahead and laid my ruler down, because my ruler is exactly 2 inches, and I need 2-inch strips to make my bias binding. We're going to make bias binding in order to close up this chair and finish it off. So I put my ruler down and I used my rotary cutter and cut it with my rotary cutter. So there's my 35-inch piece. And then I needed 1 at 14, so we'll use this one for that, and we needed 2 at 10 inches. So here's all my bias strips. I'm going to take them to my pressing table and I'm going to press these. So I've got all my strips here. Is my iron hot? Nope, I got to wait for my iron to heat up. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you how this is done. What I've got here is a bias tape maker, and it's just this little metal piece of equipment. It comes in a 4-pack with all different sizes. This is the largest size one I have, and this is particularly made for 2-inch strips of fabric. And what you do is you take your fabric and you insert it in here. Grab a pin or something sharp to help push it through so you can get it out the other end. This tool is really made for making binding with 100% cotton fabric. Quilter's fabric. Okay, so there we got it going. So now I'll kind of back this up and press it. And now I should be able to just pull this along. It works much better with just cotton fabric, but this is better than having to fold it all over on my own and do this. It's still faster. Let's go a little bit more there. Okay, and then the next step is to fold this hat in half, edge to edge, and we'll press this. And then once we get them all folded edge to edge, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just run a bead of hot glue right here inside there and glue this shut. And there's our bias binding. And then I'll take you back to the chair and show you how to put it on. We want to get this tucked in right above this wood here. Push it down really good. You want it to be an ample amount of glue, but you also don't want it to squeeze out. So just make sure it's right against that piece of wood there. And just make your way around the whole piece. And I'm going down from underneath so that I can catch any of those loose threads that are hanging down. And glue them up under there. Okay, now we're back to here. I'm going to cut this and fold it. Press that down real hard, take off that bit there, just squeezing that so it makes it as flat as possible. Just a little bit of threads or something poking out here. I'm just going to push those down. And a little bit of glue here. I'm going to take that off. There we go. All done. with that stretch. So now I'm going to do the other pieces and this baby's done. One more quick tip to make this end piece a little bit less bulky. Once you've pushed it together and squeezed out all the glue, you can just take a little hammer and just hammer it down, and you'll get a nice flat, less bulky edge to it, and that'll be much smaller too. Okay, so there it is with the welt or the bias cording glued to the chair.